everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well, and I hope you're in the mood for some more really fun stuff, because we might get some puppy visitors today since I'm not in my normal spot. I'm actually sitting on the floor in front of one of my bookcases because I alphabetized them to organize them, and the genre I'm going to tell you about, most of them happen to actually be grouped together on the bottom of this bookcase. And it might be hard to tell because you're mostly seeing Ivanovich, but as last week I told y'all about some of my favorite James Rollins-esque action-packed thrillers, today I've got another one of my favorite genres, and that is urban fantasy. Now we're going to be focusing on the books that I actually own as opposed to all the ones I found online, but if you like, I will do a second video of urban fantasy with all the Kindle Unlimiteds. So, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Start off, well, it's on the top shelf, so I've got, well, if I can get the glare off of it, Janine Frost and her Grave series. And I don't think I like the way I'm having to hold this. Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm cheap. I'm just holding my phone and recording. So, yeah, Janine Frost is, I love this series. There's also a spin-off that is told through Vlad Tepes or Dracula. And I've only read one of those. I do need to find some more, but this is basically like, if you like Buffy, you need to check this out. We've got basically a vampire slayer named Kat, though she doesn't spell her name correctly. She spells it with a C instead of a K, who, you know, is actually, well, she's badass because she is half vampire, as she finds out. And, you know, we get the Widow Man vision. And I'm getting cussed out by Franny, who wants to play rough with him. And she is, she's half vampire, and she is strong, she is ticked off, she is determined to kick vampire butt. And then one of her marks ends up going, really? You think you were tough enough to take me with that little, oh, I'm cute, innocent ploy? No, no, no. And takes her home and teaches her how to really, take on a vampire. And so I'm super excited. I only have 7 books of this series because that's initially what it was. And now 2 more are coming out years later. As we get our vampire slayer turned, leading a crew and in love with a vampire that she was going to take out that kicked her butt instead. It's the Night Huntress series, if you can tell, and, well, she doesn't always go that sexy in the books. Sometimes, yes, because, oh, I'm cute, I'm hot, I'm innocent. Don't mind this dagger going for your heart. Ha ha ha. So, she plays it up. She is very fun. I love this whole friggin' series. We've got some action, we've got comedy, we've got sass, we've got romance. It's Buffy, but a little bit more grown up. It's amazing. I love it. So, yeah. Janine Frost, her Grave series. You have to try that one. And another one, well, I'm trying her again. I used to love Laurel K. Hamilton and her Anita Blake series. And this is another vampire hunter. It takes place in normal world, except for in this world, monsters are real. And Anita Blake raises zombies for a living and is like a monster hunter killer. And I read one of her books last year and I was not impressed. And I don't know if it was just that book where Anita was just ridiculously stupid or, what is it? I have several of these. I used to friggin' love them, or at least the first half. I think she's actually still writing, but I quit about book 14 or 15 when it became just, we're just gonna go, I'm a, sex vampire. My boyfriend needs blood. I need other fluids. And that became the whole story, but the first bunch I remember really liking. So I'm going to try these again. I've got one on my TBR shelf that I will be getting to eventually. So yeah, I kind of recommend this, kind of don't. This is more of a, I used to love it. We're going to find out if it's still good. But it's, zombie raiser, enemies to lovers, werewolves, magic, just good old time monster. I just didn't like that he's like, I'm so badass, I don't need any help. So I put myself in positions where I can't do anything because my hands are tied and I've got bulky stuff that keeps me from maneuvering. All to prove that I don't need a man. So if she gets her act together, it's a really good story. And one that I'm sure y'all are familiar with, Charlene Harris. Well, some of the younger crowd might not know, but if y'all had HBO back in the day and watched True Blood, this is what it's based off of. And I promise the books are way better. Though, we don't get to check out the super hot guys in the thing. You can picture them and, oh, they're good. It is definitely still spicy. Not as much as they make it for HBO, which is, hey, blood and getting feisty is kind of their thing. Getting a little frisky. So, this one, they kind of tame it down. You know what's happening. There are some scenes. But this is more of a character-driven. Vampires, are real. Werewolves are real, though the vampires came out first and kind of, shoved everybody going, you're going to have to admit that you're real now, too. And it's just in this little, her Sookie Stackhouse series. She's written some other ones that, honestly, I haven't tried. They seemed more very different genre, not my thing. But, yeah, if you liked True Blood and you like vampires and romance and you just want a good old character-driven story that the female lead is generally got a brain in her head and some attitude. She's not so much this helpless damsel in distress. These are really fun. Like, she's constantly getting into trouble, but she gets herself out of it, only with a little help sometimes. Sometimes she needs a lot of help. It you never know. But there's a new problem, there's a new romance, there's some new sass in every one of these. I think it ended up being 13 books where we get to see all kinds of different shifters and whatnot. Again, very fun. Charlene Harris. And an author that she's still writing. I still love her. Kim Harrison's Hollow series. It was supposed to be a TV series, and I was super excited. And then they just went, yeah, we were getting directors and screenwriters and actors and consulting, and then nothing. Which, if they'd done it, she was supposed to get to be, consulting on it. So they were going to stay true to the books, and it was going to be amazing. But it feels like the setup to a horrible, really fun joke of a witch, a vampire, and a pixie move into a church. Yep. As we have 3 main characters, though, as you can tell, only one is on the cover, and that is our witch, Rachel Morgan. And basically, she starts off best intentions, but no friggin' clue what she's doing, no planning, just always getting herself into trouble. And her vampire, buddy helps her, kind of goes, yeah, you're gonna get killed on your own. So here, I moved into a church, so my, mom can't visit, because there's dead vampires, undead, and then there's living vampires where, their parents were vampires, got it on, made a baby, but they haven't died their final death yet, so they've got most of the strength, but not as much bloodlust, and they can still go on holy ground and outside in sunlight. So, mommy may be mad. She can't come visit me because I live in a church. And so Ivy helps Rachel with, her planning her runs, because Rachel, every book, she cannot stay out of trouble. And it's half plot, half character driven. And I love it, especially whenever Jinx, the pixie, gets into it. Because he might be a 2-inch tall, Peter Pan with wings. But do not cross him. He will mess you up. That sword ain't nothing to be trifled with. And I just love all his sass and his cussing. Because, most of the book, he gives a very creative, it's not cuss words in the traditional sense. It's usually about Tinkerbell and her toys or her underwear or various things. Yeah, so I friggin' love it whenever Jinx comes around talking junk. Sometimes it's friendly, sometimes it's not. Because, like, he has names for humans and for Rachel, you know, big stupid witch, and a few other more creative things. But it's so much fun. It's her Hollow series. Read the first 13, but skip the ending. Because otherwise, much like Harry Potter, you'll know what's coming. Because it skips way into the future. Because this was initially only supposed to be a 13-book series. Ending with a witch with no name. And then she went back and wrote The Turn, which is a prequel. And we get to see why friggin' Trent is such a piece of crap. He's a carbon copy of his evil father, who is just worthless, getting by on his name trash, and I hate him, and I'm glad he's not around. But, like, she did that, and then she wrote some other series, and then went back to the Hollows in modern Rachel time, and actually, I pre-ordered the paperback of the 16th book coming out in May, and she's got a 17th coming out in June, and I guarantee they're going to be friggin' amazing. So, yep, read this series. Don't read the end of the 13th book if you'd like to keep the who's gonna live, who isn't suspense. And just enjoy some good, vampire and witchy and demon action and lots of, friends just talking crap and being smart alecky. Love it. And then one of my, favorite that I've almost never seen on BookTube is Dorinda Jones's Grave series. Well, Charlie Davidson, but as you notice, here's first grave on the right. Second grave on the left. And these all get a little spicier as you go along. Because basically we've got Charlie Davidson, who helps her dad and her uncle solve cases because they're cops in Albuquerque or Santa Fe. I forget which. It's one of the big cities in New Mexico, and I love it. I found this series when I lived in New Mexico for school, and she sees dead people. And if you notice the little, sickle there, she also has ties to death in another way that becomes clearer with each book, that also gets spicier as we find out who her tie is, and it's Charlie Davidson. If the name doesn't give it away, there is some smart alecky sass and comments. And she's got kind of like a PI business going with her across the hallway neighbor named Cookie. And her sweet little 13-year-old daughter that they've basically adopted. And it's just, we've got a lot of kind of, sweet family, get-togethers, some family drama, because stepmama is not loved. She is typical evil stepmother. And, we've got death, who gets more complex. I can't say who and what, because that would give away a huge spoiler. That's a couple books in. This is another one that it's 13 books, and I understand why she stopped it, but I really want her to go back. I friggin' love this. It's murder mysteries and spice and comedy and magic, and it's a good time. So, yeah, if you want some urban fantasy, go check this one out if you want to laugh and have a little fun with it. And I hope those help you find some new favorites, and I will see you soon. Bye. Happy reading.